So welcome to my YouTube channel. That's what we call The Good Life. It's January and we're all getting really excited for the coming year, and I'm going to be telling you about some of the jobs you can be doing this month to get yourself ahead for the coming year. And first of all, I'd like to say a massive thank you for everyone that's followed my channel over the last year, and in particular the likes, the subscribes, the comments, all the kind words you've given me, the Merry Christmas, the Happy New Year, all those sorts of things, and also in particular those that have been kind enough to buy me a coffee. And we've had some really lovely festive coffees. If you've not heard of the Buy Me a Coffee, there will be a link up on the screen and one in the description if you feel that you've got benefit out of this channel and you'd like to treat me to a coffee. Now let's get moving on to some of the jobs you can be doing this month. Now, like today, it's a little bit windy, and if I don't talk quick enough, I'm probably going to get rained on. So you have to pick your days. Yesterday was a beautiful sunny day, and really I should have been up here on my plot, but I had some other jobs that I had to be doing at home. So it's today I'm up here getting a few jobs done. So one of the things I plan on doing either in January or the coming months is sorting out my composter. It's looking a little bit untidy there, and it definitely needs turning over. We only replaced the panels in between last year, and already they've got really shabby. So I normally just resource unwanted wood, unwanted panels, and I just reuse wood, but they've already rotted, so we're going to have to take those out and then move the composters over to move it over. And just be particularly careful this time of year, because we all get really excited turning it over, but there can sometimes be hedgehogs hibernating in there, and there can be slow worms. We often find slow worms or hedgehogs when we're turning these over, so we're always really careful because we don't want to harm them. So don't dig. One of the best things to do is not to dig down too deeply, and to leave a little bit more surface there in case there is anything underneath that you've not seen. So that's going to be one of my jobs. Maybe it'll be this month or maybe it'll be next month, but in the next couple of months I will be intending to get that turned over. So moving over to the rhubarb, it's already starting to sprout through, so which is really positive. It's nice to see that something is actually, even though the weather has been quite horrid some days and really quite cold, it's nice to see some things starting to come through ready for next year. It's always amazing because you think there is like literally nothing on the allotment doing anything. It all looks pretty dead and pretty brown, and everything's dying off, but actually if you really look closely, that is not the case. I often mulch around my rhubarb, which I haven't got around to doing, so I am a little bit behind, but we often put some wattage manure over it, or sometimes just some grass clippings, that sort of thing, just to mulch around it, to keep it a little bit warm, and to try and obviously put some goodness back into the soil as well. So there's also our fruit trees here, and again you can see little buds on these as well. Again, you think that they just look grey and that they're not doing anything, they almost look dead, but they're not. They're actually looking quite good. So if you've not pruned your fruit trees, then that's a job you can be doing. And if you wanted to put some bare rootstock in, another good time to do it in January. So that's something you can plant if you've not got enough fruit trees. I've got enough up here, so I won't be putting any more in this year, but when I move, that will be one of the things on my list to do. So as we move down, I've got some soft fruits. So I've got my raspberries, and they definitely need a little bit of a tidy up, and I've probably mentioned on a few videos that I plan to do it, and yet I still haven't finished it. So I need to have a good weed through here, and I need to take out all the dead wood. These are summer fruiting varieties. Now with summer fruiting varieties, you take out the old wood and you leave the new in, and you can tell often quite clearly which is, so that is old, because you can see there were berries on there from last year and it looks a little bit browner, whereas the new ones are more like this. They're a little bit not so dark, they're a little bit more bendy, although don't bend it too much because it will still snap, and you can see the lovely shoots on there, and there's no sign of any old fruit on that one. So that one's more likely a new one. So I will be sorting those out in the next month or two as well. I'd like to say this month, but there's every chance it'll be February, when February is when it really needs to be done. And I've got gooseberries here, and I've got blackcurrants over there as well. So again, I will need to prune these, and this you just take out more of the older looking wood. You don't take all the old wood out, you just thin it out just a little bit to give it a little bit more air around it. Same with the blackcurrants. And if you've got autumn fruiting raspberries, I have already done those, although it looks a little bit shabby over here. Autumn fruiting raspberries, you actually just cut a whole lot right down to the ground and let them shoot up again. So they are a lot easier, no working out which one is which. You just cut the whole lot down, which is what I've done there. So I've still got some things to harvest, believe it or not. So again, everyone says there's nothing to eat this time of year, and while there isn't as much, nowhere near as much, there are still things to be harvesting. I've got leeks over there I can harvest, I've got carrots, I've got parsnips, albeit I'm not entirely sure how impressive those parsnips are, but I do have some parsnips there. I've got my garlic, which will overwinter, which won't be ready until next year, probably about June time, and also some overwintering onions again there, and they will be overwintering. I can't start harvesting those until about June time, although if they're big enough I will start harvesting the onions sooner. My blueberries are here, so this is one of my really good successes that I've had over the last couple of years. I've been planting blueberries in this raised bed here, and they were really quite small plants when I got them, and they were ridiculously expensive, and I did think I'm never going to get my money back. And while I didn't get the money back that I paid for the blueberries, I did get a very, very impressive crop. So this year I'm hoping for an even better crop, something that we really, really like, and if I'm honest, wasn't entirely convinced they would grow this well in this country, but they are doing particularly well. So I've also mulched here as well, so that's a job you can be doing. You know, when you've obviously, you know, cleared the weeds, which is another job you need to be doing. You need to be obviously clearing the weeds. If digging's your thing, giving it a dig, and also either putting mulch down, which is what we've done on this section, or putting ground cover down, which is what we've done on this section over here. I do use a bit of ground cover because while I do get mulch up the allotment, trying to mulch everything and keep it under control, I personally find a bit of a struggle. Putting a bit of ground cover down to help you manage it, for me, was an absolute game changer quite a few years ago when I first started doing my plot. I'd seen it done at River Cottage and I thought, you know what, if it's good enough for them, it's definitely good enough for me. If you want to put a bit of ground cover down yourself, we do have an Amazon shop. I will put a link up on the screen and one also in the description, so if you want to get some of that cover, it's well worth it. I use it each year, so the same bit goes down at the end of the season, comes back up in the spring, and it just gets reused year after year after year. So I've got some more crops over here. I've got some chard, a few beetroots, although I think they're probably towards the end of it, but there are still some little beetroots there, and also some more carrots. We did a little bit of makeshift mulching over the last few days because we had some cardboard left from Christmas where obviously things had arrived, and rather than put it into landfill, we bought the cardboard up, we laid it down, and we put some mulch over the top of it, so you can only see the edges of it here. If you put cardboard down, you just be mindful to take out staples and to remove sellotape and that sort of thing, but cardboard works really well as a weed suppressor because this little bit around here was really quite weedy, and generally I don't plant on this bit here, and you know, if I'm honest, I thought I can't be bothered to weed it. I'm not going to plant here, I'm just going to put some cardboard down and I'm just going to put some mulch on it just to suppress it, and that's what we've done. So there's no reason at all why that won't work. I've also got some more gooseberries down here which do need to be pruned again, and I've still got some Jerusalem artichokes. I've actually only dug one, so I do need to start digging a few more of these. They are one of those love-hate vegetables. I think both Jerusalem artichokes and globe artichokes can be a bit challenging to cook with, but I found some really nice Nigel Slater recipes, so I do intend to start digging these and actually start to eat them also very soon. Something else to bear in mind is the pigeons are definitely attacking things. I had some of my chard at home attacked by some birds, and I saw in some of the allotment groups that I'm in that some of their brassicas have really been badly attacked. It's well worth still keeping your crops covered. I know the risk of the white cabbage butterfly should have all but disappeared, but unfortunately there are some really hungry birds out there at the moment, and it's worth covering. Someone asked me what I do for that, and I use this spring scaffolding net. It's really cheap and it's really durable. Again, I use the same bits year after year after year. I buy a really big roll of it and I just cut it to size and I just keep reusing it, and it's a lot stronger than some of the other netting you can get. You can even double net it if you're worried about when the butterflies come, them getting through these holes here. So what I sometimes do, because obviously if this is just keeping birds off, then that's perfectly okay. If you're trying to keep the butterflies out, then I normally just double net it, and then one will cover the other bit up, and then that will work really well for that. Again, I will put a link up on the screen and one in the description if you'd like to get that for you too. And also it's really, really windy today. Even if you're not doing much up your allotment this time of year, it's worth planning what you're going to be doing for the year. So even if you don't want to go up the allotment and you don't want to do many jobs, just think about what you're going to be planning and what you're going to be doing, and just sourcing your seeds, sourcing your potato seeds, your onion sets for the spring, that sort of thing. And just pop up the plot from time to time, because we've had a bit of wind and I can see that that's started to blow off. So before I leave, I'll recover that and hold that back down, because obviously you want to make sure that you don't lose anything or anything doesn't get broken. Now, I've sown a few things at home, believe it or not. I've sown some peppers, some aubergines, and some microgreens. And I remember when I did the video, I said to people to keep checking it, because they can germinate really, really quickly. And as soon as they germinate, to take the lid off. Now, when I mean sometimes they germinate really quickly, they germinate really quickly. Within a couple of days, the microgreens had already sprouted and had grown a little bit taller than I would have liked. So if you're going to be planting anything, do really regularly check and take the lid off the propagator. And as soon as stuff's germinated, then take it out and put it on your windowsill. And if you're wondering what else you can be sowing this month, there is a link up on the screen for my January what to sow video.